What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is Dr. Ricky McCray here, and I want to talk to you today from a subject from my new book, Some Things Are Worth Fighting For. Today, we're going to be talking about deception. Ooh, deception. This is your relationship tip. I discovered that I had participated in a deception with my father. I thought that it was my father who had deceived me, who had pretended to be something that he was not, and perhaps even trying to get me to believe that he was a better father than he really was. But upon more self-reflection, what I recognized was my father was consistently who he was. And the real deception was not on his part, but it was on my part. That I had deceived myself. That I had a fantasy, I had this idea of what I thought my father could be, right? All these possibilities, and I had this fantasy dad in my mind, and I wanted him to be all of those things. But he was not. And the frustration came when who my father was showing me he was and the fantasy that I wanted him to be didn't line up. I had an issue. And I had to finally come face to face and say, this fantasy father that I've been hoping that my dad would be, has he ever been that? It wasn't like he was like that in spurts. It was not who he was. And I recognized I was deceiving myself. I was the one who had told a lie to myself that my father could be all of these things I wanted him to be. And I had to realize, I had to come to this realization that the problem is me and that I need to change my expectations, that I need to let go of this fantasy, that I need to let go of this idea of who my father should be to me. And I need to accept him for who he is. And I need to, and once I understand who he is and who he has shown me, right, that he is, I then change my expectations to match who he was. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but perhaps you have this expectations of someone and it's not who they are. You keep saying, I see potential in you. You keep saying, I see who they can be. You keep saying, I see that they could be this type of person. But maybe you need to let go of what you see, right, that they could potentially be, and embrace who they've shown you they are. It doesn't mean it's bad. I promise you, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you need to adjust your expectations. You'll stop being so frustrated. You'll stop being so angry and so mad at them when you realize they are who they are. Adjust your expectations. Now, can I say this finally? Because sometimes we get so busy pointing that they need to be this and they need to change that. Part of the other deception that we've created is that somehow we're better than we are. Take a look in the mirror. You have your own issues, your own problems. Maybe spend some time working on you. Spend some time looking at yourself in those areas that are flawed, that are broken, that are messed up. Those areas of you that you don't really like to talk about. Those inconsistencies about yourself. The places and the dark places that cause you to be fearful and act out of fear. I'm trying to get you to understand, right, that sometimes we deceive ourselves and we think people should be made in our image instead of God's image. Who they are is who they are. If they don't change to become who you want them to be, it's okay. You change you to being who you need to be and let God work on them. Thank you so much for this time. Listen, I believe in my heart of hearts, as this book is going to come out, it's going to be a blessing to you. It's about my forgiveness and reconciliation with my dad. And when I realized those things about him, I changed my expectations and our relationship changed. If you have a relationship that you can't seem to walk away from, You can't seem to get them off your heart and your mind. Perhaps the reason you're still there is because some things are worth fighting for.